Following the end of the First World War, there were many social, economic, and political changes that had occurred and impacted the Canadian home front. Many jobs that soldiers had before the war were not available, which caused social problems in the economy. Some of these jobs were being filled by immigrants, and some were not financially feasible to remain available to be filled. Many of the soldiers who had just returned from the war were very mad of the lack of available jobs, especially once they had heard about how some men even profited off of the war effort. There was a downfall in the economy caused by the debt of World War I, which caused job wages to be very low. There was an increase in bankruptcies, many companies had to be shut down, and to top it off, inflation was at its highest, which meant costs of goods were skyrocketing, so society was unable to afford the necessary resources to survive. More and more people were realizing that they could not afford healthy lifestyles or to take care of their families. This uphill battle caused the people of Winnipeg to push for a change. In May of 1919, over 30,000 workers walked off their job and went on strike to improve working and living conditions. They were asking for three things: decent wages, an 8-hour workday, and the right to bargain collectively for better working conditions. Workers in Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal went on sympathy strikes to show their support. In Winnipeg, the strike spread from industry to industry and quickly escalated to a general strike, which almost all key industries and services were shut down. This included garbage collectors, convenience and grocery stores, telephone operators, firefighters, and hydro workers. Even the police supported the strike but agreed to remain on duty when the strike leaders asked them to. Winnipeg had become split into two hostile camps. On one side were the strikers and supporters of the strike. On the other were the owners, employers, and leading citizens of Winnipeg. This strike called themselves the Citizens Committee of 1000 and were strongly opposed to the strike. They were determined to crush the strike by creating many restrictions, including the banning of many strike demonstrations and the encouragement of journalists to publicize hostile newspaper articles against the strikers. The Canadian government quickly made changes to the criminal code, which included the deportation of any foreign-born person who was suspected of trying to cause a revolution. Ottawa had sent troops and machine guns to Winnipeg to try to control the situation. As the strike dragged on, many became discouraged and ran back to their jobs as they did not have any source of income for months. However, on June 27th, the strike had turned violent and will forever be remembered as Bloody Saturday. A large crowd gathered to protest the arrest of 10 strike leaders who had raided the homes of union leaders just days before. Since parades were banned, the mayor called the mounted police to resolve the issue, but this had limited success. After a streetcar had been flipped on its side and set on fire, police charged the crowd and opened fire. 1 man was killed, 30 were injured, and hundreds were arrested. 5 days later, the Central Strike Committee ordered the workers back to their job. The strike was over.
Created using Powtoon.